Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jennings Blunt, your host. As always, you can catch me right here each and every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 to 6 p.m. or whenever I am available. Welcome in, tell a friend to tell a friend that Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil is on the air. You know what we do. You know what we do. And I said, again, we talk business, legal, social, whatever affects you, we will talk about it. Welcome in and welcome in. Oh, I'm getting right back into the spirit. It's been a while since I've been out on the golf course. So I decided to put some of my golf attire on and talk to you, to all the golfers that are getting ready to get out here and play some golf. See, I don't play golf and anything under 50 degrees. No, no, you ain't gonna see me on the golf course. But I want to send a shout out to all of my friends that we used to play golf on Saturdays, Sundays, and we just had a great time. But we're gonna get it back to Michael Juba, classmate of mine, Rick Harrell, a co-worker of mine, and Chester Wheat. And we look forward to getting back out there and playing a little golf. I got to tune up because it's been a moment uh, since I've been out there. But I kind of do some chipping and a little other things here while I'm at home. But I'm retired now, so I got a lot of time on my hands. It's a political season, and I know it's time to get going. I was out last night. I really enjoyed going to Brother Tappan, uh, Dr. Fred Tappan. He's running for District 6 in the Shelby County School Board. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring these people in here for you to talk to listen to, and I'm just bringing them to you. There's some that I clearly know from my experience that they're qualified, bona fide, certified to be there. And Dr. Tappan is one of those individuals who have all loved and appreciated the people in this city. Uh, as I said, he was a radio personality on 990, and he got his own uh, church podcast uh, program that he does, and he does it well. And he has that commitment. And to hear the people talk about him and his church and the church members and the pastors that were there, uh, I already knew that, but the people don't know it. But I want you, uh, many of you know Dr. Tap, and we want you to support him because I tell you this: if you got Dr. Frederick Tappins on that school board, you're gonna get what you deserve, and that is a strong representative. It's time for you to get ready. It's time for you to speak up, to stand up, and as we always say, and make a difference. But my friend here, I've been having him on the desk here to remind you every day in our life and everything that we should do, we ought to think about it. Because there's a lot of young people in penitentiary down in 201 Parkway because they didn't do this before the situation came up. They didn't do this when they became a part of a gang or organization. You really don't think, you just want to be a part of it and you don't think about it. So I've had it up here and he served his purpose uh, for a while. And that's to sit up here with me when I do these podcasts. And hopefully somebody will ask if they don't know who this is. Somebody would tell them who it is. And it's a good lead into what we ought to be doing as community leaders, pastors, uh, elected officials. We ought to think about what we do before we do it. And I say to you, there's certain things that a leader is supposed to do and supposed to be recognized as a leader, but they don't do this. So I'm gonna move my good friend over here to the side. He still be on the desk, but we're gonna move him to the side because I don't believe in some of the comments that I've been hearing on Facebook to certain subjects that come up and the opinion that people have. And I go, wow, that individual has really have not thought about what they are saying before they said it. It just don't make sense. And I said to myself, I can't believe that. Some uh, people make comments on a subject, and I used to answer to it. I was answering uh, to subjects that answers that they gave to the point. I just say I don't do nothing now. That when it's a silly answer, all I do is hit the smile emoji, the funny emoji, because it's funny to me the way certain people in our community view things. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but opinion is something that you can discuss as it relates to the situation. But when you say something that's so far-fetched, it's one or two things to me that you're doing. You are trying to be fun. You're trying to get a discussion going. But see, this is about having a good conversation and come up with what we need to do to make this city, this community better. And Dr. Tapping and others that are going to come in here, and I'm going to give them the microphone. I got some judge that's coming in that was appointed to speak, and now he's running. Had an opportunity to meet him last night and had an opportunity to speak uh, to the crowd last night in regard to uh, what we should be doing and putting people in the position that's going to make a difference in our community and stop playing with this politics. And we're going to see what's going to happen in this new election coming up. And this is a breaker here. This is a do or die situation when it comes to who you're going to put in place. I still say to you, I think that we in Memphis going to get a bombshell when it comes to the so-called leaders that dealing with the school board, individuals and contracts. I think the forensic audit is going to say, Speaker Sessions has already said, they're going to move through and get this through this session because what they are seeing so far in this forensic audit is the fact that misappropriation of funds, misuse of funds. Now, he just gave you a little bit of what's going on. And don't be surprised, you all know what's going on. Buddy plan, giving contracts to people that don't deserve playing that game. You have a public relations department, but then you had to get house sellers to get Carter Malone group to come in, and they came in on two different times and got paid. And then they recommended another uh, public relations department out of New York City. That's not something I'm just saying. That was what was reported. Now, it almost sounded like this to me. They used to have a joke when they say that you go to the doctor get paid, but then he write a prescription to the pharmacist so he can get paid. Basically, what he's saying that the doctor said to the pharmacist, I got mine, now you get yours. And that's basically what is happening in this community. People are saying, hey, get you a lobbyist group, start it up, and you can get paid because, hey, you can get contracts through the city that you're not qualified for. because you got buddies out here running the city. And I think, without a doubt, in my mind, when they make that public, when they talk about it and get it passed, it may be another year before they really get into the releasing part of it, because they're getting all the fundamentals uh, to pass this law. Don't be surprised now. Don't be surprised. And I say to you again, I'm always mentioning that. I think that everybody that's running for office should be drug tested. I don't care whether you're sitting on the bench or whether you're sitting in the bleachers or whether you're sitting in the high back chair. You need to be tested because some of the decisions that you as leaders are making make me think you smoking something. When you turn around and let the AI supercomputer come into this community, knowing that maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now, you're going to see some bad results of those turbines being over there in South Memphis. I do believe that. I say to you again, when the chemicals were buried in the ground in North Memphis, and the barrels began to leak and leaked into the water system, where women was having miscarriage and children uh, not being formed at birth, may have one arm or something that's going on, and it was proven. They had to dig them up. So why do we sit back as leaders and make decisions like that? They say, oh, it's okay. We'll make decisions. We'll go home and just do what we do and get paid. You better. And then you say, you better get it right this time. Because if you don't, you're going to be in a terrible situation when it comes to our children's children. They're going to reap what you are sowing right now. You sowing the bad seed. And you know what? Our children are going to reap it. When you long and gone, they'll be reaping your bad decision. And the elected officials don't care. It's about the mean green. That's all they want. It's about the power. You tell each one of them, and hear me, maybe some, but I think the majority of the elected officials, if you say to them, we're trying to save money, uh, the city of Memphis, the county of Shelby is in trouble. So what we want you all to do is just to work uh, for nothing. How many of you think would still be committed to come down there twice, just twice a month? Sometimes they come for the committee meetings, just like they do in Nashville, Washington, D.C. They come for that. And then they come for the full session. But you tell them to do it voluntarily. They wouldn't do that because they're not committed to really serving the people. They are committed for the main green. And some will say, hey, well, I got to be a part of that's my livelihood. It shouldn't be your livelihood. It was not designed, government, to be your livelihood. It was designed for people to be elected, to do the job for the people on behalf of the people, and then go home. But we made it a job. And when you have people in office who've been in office for 20 and 30 years who have made it a job, ladies and gentlemen, that's a problem. You're supposed to be elected. Run your 2 terms if you're reelected, and go home and sit down. But you got to the point that I've been over here 8 years. Everybody know my name. They call me by my name. And then they go to another position. And the city and the county is still in bad shape. The city has a deficit. The county had no money. And Regina Newman, who is the treasurer for Shelby County, they said, we waiting on her to give us our check. To me, when I heard the chairman say that of the county commission, it says to me that you're writing checks and there no money in it, or you just holding back and waiting till you get paid before you can do any business. That says to me there's mismanagement as it relates to the county commission, as it relates to the city. But then to me, there's only somebody that's managing the money is the representative in Nashville, Tennessee. I heard Brother DeBerry in an interview that's running for Shelby County Mayor. He said that he was there as a freshman, and he used to hear people say that they didn't care anything about Memphis. He said he used to hear the representative said that Memphis needs to be a part of Mississippi. I'm kind of paraphrasing what he said. And when he said that, I thought about it. I said, that goes to show you what the representative could not do, and that was to get respect in Nashville. And they clearly, right now, they have no respect for the representative here in Memphis. They can't do anything. And he made a statement. He said that even when you're not in power, you ought to have the sense enough to know how to go across the aisle and talk to people to get the job done. See, we don't get on this thing where I'm a Democrat and they say I'm a Republican and I'm going to be loyal to the Republican Party and the Democratic Party no matter what. So you be loyal to some or somebody that don't care anything about you, whether Republican or Democrat. I've heard people say that on the front of being a Republican, Democrat, that they work and try to rise up in the party, both of them. But there's those individuals in both sides of the party that if you're not right with them, then you don't advance. If you're too bold, then you don't advance. If you say something that's truth to power, and they're afraid to say it because they too committed to the power that be in the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party. But when you can stand tall and tell the truth and shame the devil, they come at you. But one thing I believe more than anything, he who sows the wind shall reap the whirlwind. I do believe that. I ran many times, and many times in the Democratic Party, they came at me. And that's why I fight as hard to do what I do, because I know the snakes. I can call the snakes by name in the Democratic Party. So that's the reason I vote now as to who's qualified, in my opinion, to do the job. I don't care who you are. If you show me that you're going to do something on behalf of the people, that you're not there to get a paycheck, but you're there to represent the people. And I keep saying, all you got to do is to look north and south. It will tell you what kind of representative you have on the school board, on the city council, as well as on the county commission. Just look at north and south. Memphis, no matter what representative you have on these different boards, that their relationship, their representative, you are a mess. Because look at what you're doing, you're not doing. And I see them all the time. I hear them on the radio talking big and bad, but doing nothing. But I tell the truth and shame the devil. I don't care who you are or what you think you are, because I can carry my water. I can drink my water. I'm not a carrier of anybody's water other than mine. You got black representatives that are politically carrying other folks' water. And if they're carrying other folks' water, they can't bring the water to you because they are too busy carrying other people's water. Meaning they are too busy carrying other people's water that they can't represent you. And you think about that. Think about it and make strong decisions that you got these people in your South Memphis area, in your district, look like a bomb has been dropped through it, then you know you ain't got the right person to do the right job for you. You ain't got the right people to stand up and speak boldly as a lion, but you got them that's fleecing like sheep because they can't speak for you because they're too busy carrying other people's water. They're carrying their water because the people have basically bought and paid for it. And I know people don't like to hear that. I had a young lady who walked up to me and a couple of other people last night at this fundraiser. And the first thing they were saying, we listened to your show, we enjoyed the show. And matter of fact, welcome in to those individuals who've been listening to me for quite some time. And I hope that something I say to you that will make a difference for you to think about. It's time for me to speak up. It's time for me to do the right thing. He's telling the truth because, hey, I live in South Memphis. I live in North Memphis. And I see the destruction of our community. I see that everything bad is coming to either South or North Memphis. Everything is good that go out east. You look at the golf courses. I play golf courses all over the city. Some you have to beg to get them to do improvement on the golf course. That's over in South Memphis. I understand. I haven't been there for a while, but they said Pine Hill, a little work has been done over there. The links at South Bay or Whitehaven, they did a little work over there. So I look forward to going back over there to these places and play golf this year. But it's the problem when you go down to Walnut Grove and you go to Galloway, and that golf course looked like it could be a PGA golf course on tour, but I know there had to be a little bit more things done to make it PGA ready. But you go there and you look at it and you tell me what you think. But I'm asking you again, I'm asking you that for you to stand up and be counted when it comes to representing the people. I'm asking that you do that because you're not doing it now. And that's a problem that we have in this city. You all need to get ready to replace some people who have been there and done nothing. You got to replace it. But if you don't, and you put certain people that I'm thinking about, you put them back in office, then it's over because it's not going to get better. You opened up, you showed your dislike as it relates to the mayor and what he's doing, but they're going to try to buy you. They're going to try to buy you through the so-called leadership in your community. Now, let me say this to all of the individuals who's supposed to be leaders in your community. You're supposed to be in the know, and you're supposed to know the representative. They know you by name, and you're supposed to be the leader in your community, north and south. And your community look like somebody done dropped a bomb. That says to me, you know a leader, not only the representative are not leaders, but the one who call themselves leaders that the representative give money for you to get out the vote. And you just as bad as the representative. If you are a community leader in North and South Memphis, and they know you by name, you can pick up the phone. And I used to have a relative of mine moved back here from Detroit. And the first thing he said, man, I worked in the clerk's office in Detroit. I was assistant to the clerk and all that. And I used to tell him that Detroit politics and Memphis politics are totally different. Where he found out that it's totally different. But he's still out here trying to make a name for himself like he did in Detroit. They're totally different. See, the mentality of certain parts of the black community is not the mentality of a Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King. Nothing like those men who was on the battlefield, like Ben Hooker, like James Smith, that used to be Reverend James Smith, be over the Aspen Union. Those individuals care about people that they represent totally. But now, this new wave of politics and politicians is totally different. When you see already what you got for who you voted for, and you got absolutely nothing, tell me, let me know one representative in South Memphis that have actually done something for you. In South Memphis, North Memphis, tell me people are getting jobs and making a livelihood and staying in there and you believe because you know their name, they're doing a good job. I'm calling them out. And I have no problem to do that. But I also give them the opportunity to come here, sit with me, and discuss the issues. Why are you running for this position? What qualification do you have to run for a position that you know nothing about? See, understand this, just because you were a county commissioner, you're a school board member, or your city council does not give you the right, other than the state give you the right because you're over 21, then you can run, but that don't make you qualified. What experience do you have to be a clerk? What experience do you have to be an assessor? What experience do you have truly to be the treasurer for Shelby County? I want those individuals to come in and I want to give them the microphone, give them the opportunity to sit and just talk to you and tell you, I'm so and so, so and so. have the knowledge and the understanding of what it is to be a treasurer. You're going to be keeping the county's money. Tell me what you have done. Have you worked in the office? Have you understood while in the office what to do in that office? Have you ever did anything that makes you worthy to be a county commissioner? Do you understand what is taking place? Do you have to lean over and ask somebody else how to vote? And I've seen it time and time again. I look at them and I see them just whispering because they don't know what's going on. They didn't understand what the vote is about, what they're voting on. And they go into these offices asking someone else what they should do. See, I used to hear people say all the time, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. And that wasn't a positive statement, but that was a negative statement. In that you get your butt up there and you don't know Robert rules of order, you don't know how to raise questions, you don't know how to speak to the problem. See, it's more to being a representative than being loud. It's more to being a representative that's acting a fool in public. I always wonder about this. Why is it that the louder you talk, the more some, but not all, black people think you're a good representative? And that's how some people cover up their ignorance by talking loud. They want to be the loudest person in the room. Sometimes it's the most stupidest person in the room. Because at the end of the day, if they can't tell you what they're doing in detail, it's almost like, and God knows this is true, I pastored people over the years. And we get in my office and they say, Preacher, Pastor, you really preached today. And some of you preachers can contest to this. I said, I did. They said, yeah, you showed up preach today. And I asked, what did I preach about? What did you get from the message? Well, I just know you preached today. Never asked the question, what did you get out of the message? You said I really preached today. And when they said, well, you just preached, that's all I'm going to say. You preached today. What? Did you think I preached because did I talk loud or what? And I said this here to say, and the preachers can verify this, that they have had people after preaching the sermon, they walk up to them and say, you know, you preached today, preacher, pastor, you preached today. But at the same time, they couldn't tell them why they said that they preached today. You will do the same thing if you don't listen to what the preacher is saying or what the representative is doing. Oh, you said, oh, he's doing a great job. Now tell me, I'm gonna give you the mic. You tell me what he's done, that he's doing a great job. Now I'm gonna just ask you, buying a hotel, letting somebody else run it, somebody else design it, and then turn around and give it to the Carlisle Group. Do you say that that's a good job? Or do you say that's some kind of payoff? In my opinion, I believe it's some kind of payoff. It is some kind of payoff for the fact that certain politicians are being given big donations. And all of a sudden, I have yet to find out why we as citizens, to the representatives that we had, that they thought we needed to buy a hotel. I asked Paul, I'm gonna ask them again to come on. Let's talk about it. this hotel. Let's talk about you won't touch the $77.7 million deficit as reported. It's not something I'm making up. It's something that was printed on paper, talked about on the news, and you won't address that. That money could have went to pay first responders, but you didn't address it, and you won't address it. Tell me, Paul Young, why that you didn't do what a leader is supposed to do. If there's a deficit, if I ever came into a position like I've done when I pastored, I always called the treasurer of the church along with the heads, trustee, and the stewards. And I'll tell you, where are we as a church? I need you to say, Reverend, we at this position here bring all the books that I used to look at. And then I would tell the board, oh, we doing good? Are you looking good financially? Because you got to understand the church has to pay its bill. The church has light, gas, and water. The church has phone bill. The church had daycare center. The employee had to be paid. The daycare center was prospering. We had a board for the daycare center. We had a board for the church. Church was doing well under my administration. I knew about budgeting. I knew how to raise money for the general church. Did it for 32 years. But when you have people that sit back and do nothing to find out if an individual is really qualified, and then you get a dancing individual dancing and you holler, oh, you go girl. And this supposed to be a school board representative. For all them, you go girl. You're about as bad as the individual that's doing all the dancing. I'm Jennings Bernard. You're listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I want to thank you for all the people who saw me last night and were walking up and saying, listen, I enjoy your program. I thank you for all the thousands of people on a monthly basis and the reports that I get that you are listening. But I ask you to subscribe. I ask you to share this video and all of them. You can go to the website at memphisrealtalk.com. You can go to the YouTube channel, memphisrealtalk.com. X is the same thing as well as Spotify. To make a difference. That's what I'm doing. That's why I do this. That's why I do this. That I take my time at my expense to set up this studio and to come and talk to you. See, I want to grow this thing to the point that long after I'm gone from this earth, that somebody will be at this desk or another desk or another studio that I have plans for, that will be sitting here talking to you about the issues that Jennings Bernard talked to you a long time ago. I thank you so much. You have a great weekend. And go and call your neighbor and talk politics to them. Politics is everything, and everything is politics. Politics in the local bread that you bought today, the coffee that you're going to make in the morning or later on this evening. All of that is politics. From the meat that the butcher cut for you, it was politics in there because somebody had to be paid to cut the meat. You have to understand it. There's more to politics than what you think. And there's more for you to get an understanding and do the right thing. Have a great weekend. I look forward to you, and God bless you. In the words of my grandmother, she always said, if it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, we'll see you on Monday. But remember what I said. Trust everyone, but do not trust the devil. And I look forward to seeing you on the golf course if you're out there, because I definitely will be there. You all take care. God bless you. And we'll hopefully see you on Monday. Take care.